Good morning. Or I guess it is. It is for me. I don't know about you. I really and truly do. I tell you, it is Sunday morning. It is a beautiful day here in Angeles City. It's cool. It's crisp. There's very little humidity. It's nice. It's hard to complain, that's for sure. Let us copy link, and we're going to place this here. And so in the comment section, the link is up for those that want to join up and be a part of the panel today. And let's do this. Good morning, McLovin. How's things going? Thanks for joining us. We certainly appreciate it. That's for sure. Scoot B. Good morning, Scoot. How are you? Osmodo, Sunset Travel, and numerous other names. How you doing? Tim Desiak, good morning. Nice to see you. Good to see you, that's for sure. Oh, it's been a busy morning for live streams. I don't expect too many. I think people have gotten it out of their system. You know, there's been like 4 live streams prior to this morning. So we'll see what happens. Good morning. Nice to see you're feeling better. Thank you, Heath. Yes, I am feeling much better. That's for sure. I'm still on antibiotics, believe it or not. It's a long regimen to get all of it out of the system. Hector Gupta, good morning, Doc. Rainy day in Southern California. Wow. I thought it never rained in California. I thought it was supposed to be beautiful all the time. James Gilbert is here. Good morning, Mike and everyone. How you doing, James? Thanks for dropping in. D Webb, the old hand, is here. Good morning. How you doing? So Expat Crap says, friendly reminder, remember to invite guests every 15 minutes and post links to the panel frequently to get a good show running full of entertainment. I'll keep that in mind, Expat Crap. I certainly will. Thanks for joining. We certainly appreciate it. Scoot, have both the suitcases packed at 22.9 kilogram of presents and chocolates. Yeah, that's always a thing, you know, trying to make sure the weight is right. I can tell you that when we go to Thailand, it's never right coming back. We always either have another suitcase we've bought and paid for or added weight to the luggage. Yep. Scoot B. Good morning, Brooks Rick. How are you? How are you doing? Thanks for dropping in. So, a slow start this morning. 25 in the room. Wow. 25 people, 26 people, 9 thumbs up. And I don't care about the thumbs up. I think I didn't even say that correctly. 25 people in the room and only about 10 or maybe less commenting. So, I mean, if you're new to the channel, if you're just dropping in, if you're just seeing us, if you've got things to talk about, you know what? Make a comment so that we know you're there. Scoot B says, it rains in California, just like Florida says they are the sunshine state. But here in Arizona, we get over 337 days. Yeah. You know, I got to tell you, Scoot, I don't care what people complain about Arizona. I spent 23 years there, and I loved it. I loved, I loved Phoenix. I thought it was great, personally. Sunset Travel, right channel now. He was looking forward to some drama. I got to be honest, the last show was great. You know what? If drama happens, it happens. Okay? If not. It's not like we go looking for it. It's just that it is what it is. Will 4596, good morning. Good morning, Will. D-Web says, you still sound like you're a little sauced off them bottles, Boone Farm, New Year's Eve. No, I didn't even have a single alcoholic drink New Year's Eve. We spent New Year's Eve here in the condo, sitting on the balcony and watching TV and sitting on the balcony. We have a great view of all the fireworks from our balcony. And, we had a very relaxing, easy. In fact, I fell asleep for a while until Angelique started topping off their fireworks. Ugly Tourist James is here. Good morning, Ugly Tourist. How are you? I caught most of your live this morning. Ding and the baby are looking beautiful and cute as ever. Thanks for joining. Scoot says hello. Chippy Whiska, good evening, Mike. Hope your holiday went well. Actually, it did. We had a great holiday. I can't complain at all. Not at all. Expat crap. He's going to press this. Are you willing to reconsider being John's friend? No. First off, I guess maybe we should explain a few things. We have only a handful of friends, period, worldwide, both in the U.S. and here. Here, I have probably 2 people I would consider friends. The rest are just acquaintances, and that's just all there is to it. Would I be cordial to John? Sure. Absolutely. There's no sense in being rude or a jerk or anything like that to anybody for any reason other than, I guess any reason's a little bit too much. But sure. All right. I would be cordial to John. I'd buy him a cup of coffee. I could care less. Would we be friends? No, we wouldn't be friends. All right. Would we be cordial enough to agree? No. Would we be cordial enough to agree to disagree? Sure. And we'd be probably reasonable to talk about it. Expat crap. Will we be seeing a makeup today? I doubt it. I seriously doubt that John will come on the channel. I think he's not going to appreciate it. But, you never know who's going to show up. Scoot, I like being 4 hours from skiing if I want to, and then 4 hours south to the ocean and go swimming. Yeah, you can. You know what? We were an hour from skiing up in Flag and 3.5, 4 hours from Rocky Point, Puerto Penasco. We had a condo in Rocky Point. So, yeah. The Ugly Tourist, Scoot, hey, I've tried to say hello to you in the last one too. There you go. Scoot B. James, you only say that. Yeah. Let's see here. Will, I just unsubscribed from a channel that has become toxic. Just making a simple comment and you get attacked. Not a good way to start the morning. You're friendly and pleasant, and that's the way I like listening. Yeah, you know what? There are a lot of toxic YouTubers, a lot of toxic channels. It sometimes comes with the territory. Sometimes it's intentional, not intentional. It just is the way life goes. Did you get your jury notice for the Maduro? Yeah, that is crazy. I am waiting to see what's going to happen. There's going to be a shitstorm all over between the Democrats, the Republicans. Was it lawful? Was it constitutional? I want to see how it's going to be presented. And no, I did not get my jury notice, but I am watching it closely. I really want to see what's going on. So Expat Crap says, so to be clear, you would sit down and have coffee together. Oh, sure. Why not? I can't think of anybody I would not sit down and have coffee with. And when I say that, I mean, certainly I would not sit down with a serial killer, or, people like that. Certainly there are limitations, but when it comes down to just normal people, sure I would. Why wouldn't I? Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you, if you had the ability to sit there and have a conversation with somebody, wouldn't you? I would think you would. Scoot, I did get my jury duty notice to appear in February for federal court in Phoenix. Whoa. Scoot, I sent them a copy of my one-way ticket to the PI on January 7th. That'll get rid of them. What, no serial killers? I'm off the list. Sorry, Scoot. Sorry. Not much I can do about that. That's for sure. Wills is guaranteed the Dems will use this Maduro thing to start impeachment. Oh, I'm sure they will. I'm sure, they're going to be, there's going to be, the problem that we run into is this not much unlike YouTube. Enough. You see it with YouTubers out there that will take a rumor, a shred, and they'll expand on it like they know exactly what's going on, only to find out 2 weeks later they don't know what's going on. All right. And we don't either at this point. Dems already screaming. I tell you what, we start talking about Democrats and Republicans and the channel drops 20 people. That's funny. And it's not that's not what this conversation was to be about. That's for sure. But it is news that just broke this morning. Or for us, it broke this morning. Yeah. So Michael says, coffee is a carefree way of spending quality time with a narcissist. Well, yeah. Coffee is why wouldn't I sit down and have a conversation? One of the things that I think happens is that people my age, we tend to have a different presentation face to face than through text. And that's just the way it is, so yeah, why not? Bobby Gill, Mike, I'm going to start a daycare. Do you want to go in on it? No, thank you, Bobby. I don't do business with anybody, quite frankly. And I certainly am not going to do business here in the Philippines. Expat crap. Your statement about refusing to sit down with serial Ks mean you cannot sit down with Trump or any other president. Well, I don't know, expat crap. I'm not sure you can define that as a serial killer. In fact, I would probably argue and say we'd have to agree to disagree. Darren Daval, good morning, Darren. Are you back in town, back there to everything? That's good. Scoot, I'm going to let the channel build up for about another 10 minutes before I do anything. So I'll post the link again very shortly, and then we'll start bringing people onto the panel. I see Scoot's trying to join right now. So give it about 10, 15 minutes. Michael, John started showing that he may have a human side. I think all people do. I mean, I think, Michael, that one of the things we have to all agree on is that people are individually different and people are raised different. Just like, I think sometimes maybe this is going to sound racist. We can't look at all Caucasians and assume they were culturally raised the same way. You can't do that. There are Caucasians that are raised in different cultural situations, just like there are Asians, just like there are any others that are culturally raised differently. Shit, in the United States, quite frankly, you could be raised in the South. If you were raised in the heart of Georgia, and then you tried to take that same attitude without any kind of filter to Washington State or to Portland, Oregon, or anything like that, you'll find that there's a difference. And so, yeah, look, John lives his life and thinks of things the way he wants to, and that's just all there is to it. Sunset Travel, by the looks of all the thousands of cheering, crying people saying thanks, Trump waving U.S. flags, Dems mad they lost their alien voters. It is about the alien voters, Sunset. It really and truly is. And, Sunset's over in Australia, and he's seeing the same thing. Assimilation of different cultures has really torn the political system a new one in Australia and in the UK and in the US. So he's absolutely correct. That's for sure. Callie, a super chat, $10. Happy New Year. Thanks so much, Callie. Thank you very much. We're always extremely grateful for donations to the channel, and whether it's a donation to the channel or whether it's an appreciation of the effort that we put into it. I will tell you this, okay? You'll notice that I haven't been posting as much frequently as we used to, and there's a reason for that, okay? And so I should tell you, other than the fact that, yeah, I did get sick and I was in the hospital for a few days, but that had nothing to do with it. We're very busy right now with another business hobby, something that doesn't have anything to do with the Philippines, something that doesn't have anything to do with YouTube, nothing like that whatsoever. But it has been taking a lot of time. And we're not going to go into what it is, as it doesn't really matter. I don't want the trolls to follow over into that business for sure. But yeah, we're busy with other stuff, and we'll continue posting and keeping things abreast. But during this startup period, it takes a little bit of our time. That, and then we have Christmas, the holidays, family, the whole 9 yards. So, and I hope all of you had great holiday. That's for sure. Michael says, I find it difficult to talk to a few British expats via differences in words, meaning, and difference. Like, it's interesting, Michael. The other day, excuse me. The other day, what's today? Today is Sunday. I think it was last Tuesday. Last Tuesday, the weather looked like crap, and I was a little tired, and usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go to breakfast at Tequila Reef. Well, I just didn't feel like going. Okay? Instead, and I wanted to give Arlene a bit of a break rather than saying, hey, make me breakfast, blah, 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 which she does all the time. I never say it. All right? So I went to the rooftop here at Candy Palace for breakfast. And I had an incredible eye-opening discussion with two Australian guys. Now, these two guys, they're both from, they're not both. First off, one lives in Australia, immigrated to Australia years ago, and the other one, and they're brothers. They're a year apart. Okay. They're brothers, and one of them stayed in England. And I had questions because I've never completely understood some of the options with the Australian and British old age pension issues. And so with that being said, I see Bill is trying to join the panel. Give me like 5 more minutes, Bill, and we'll hook this up. Okay. I'll put the link back up. I want to tell this, story real quick. So anyways, I had an hour-long conversation with these two guys about the Australian and the British pension system and life in Australia and in this guy lives I forget where it is, but he's like about an hour from London or something. All right. So yeah, having a conversation with them was not so bad at all. So let me just go here. Darren, just a heads up for everyone that does YouTube. A friend of mine got blacklisted recently, elderly man with a small channel. The MBI cybercrime are watching if you upset. Darren, we've seen a couple reports of that. And even I saw a news release from Rubio down in Florida talking about several instances where Americans have been detained and or arrested upon entry into a couple of European countries just because of searches with their social media history. So yeah. Michael, a happy ending massage parlor in Thailand. No. This is a U.S.-based business. Peter Purr, good morning, Peter. Sana all. Hey, Mike, see all our Navy boys coming into Subic, hoping our talks for the military of the Philippines bears fruit soon. I think we'll see something. I really do. Ranger for Collector, I've had breakfast with on numerous occasions. Really nice guy. He's back in the States right now, but I think he'll be coming back here to Angeles very soon. Scoot B. Now that would be interesting for the expats in Angeles City if a few thousand young men showed up on shore leave. Yeah. Maybe, but you know what? Scoot, Walking Street, there are U.S. military in Angeles City as we speak. Okay, we see them quite often. And not the way we say this is it's not because we see short-haired guys, all right, that are young. It's because we see the U.S. military aircraft. We can see the final approach and short final for Clark Airport from our balcony. So we see those aircraft, so we know they're here. And we also know that, according to a few that we've spoken to, Walking Street is off limits. They are not supposed to be on Walking Street. So, just food for thought. Food for thought. All right, so I'm going to post the link back up. There we go. There's the link. If people would like to join and cam up and have discussions, it's good to go. Troops here is kind of worrisome, means they are anticipating China will attack. Well, I think, it's inevitable. China is going to go after Taiwan sooner or later. It's only a matter of time. It really and truly is. And this Venezuela thing, that's going to piss the Chinese off a lot. I mean, that's a lot of oil that Trump is talking about controlling that China has been buying. So, in retaliation to that, they may just start putting the pressure because they know the U.S. can only spread itself so thin. Scoot, but you don't see 4,000 coming off a carrier yet. No, not yet. Not yet. And when it does happen, it'll be a Longapo that sees it, not us. So I see Bill is in the green room, but Bill, I don't see your image. And I'm not going to bring you up unless you cam up and present an image. It's not going to happen. So I don't know what the deal is there. Could be that it disconnected on you, but give it a try again. Yeah, we have also decided we will not allow people on the panel without having their camera on. If an ugly old guy like me can get on camera, so can you guys. Let's see here. Bill's trying again. And I still don't see an image. So I don't see any image there. Your camera feed is not working, so I can't bring you in, Bill. So anyways, yeah, I think that there's a lot going on. I really and truly do. But yeah, we've been busy. We have everything going. There's Scoots there. We'll assign him to guest number 1. Okay. And then we will. There we go. Scoots in there.
You know what I think it is? They look at your good-looking mug, and they're afraid to come up.
No, my God. Please. All right. You know what? I can just yell in the room next door, or I can just, and Arlen will argue that you are just totally incorrect there. That's for sure. Michael says, if my camera's on, do I need pants?
I get the same thing from B-Joy.
Yeah. Michael, as long as your camera doesn't point down that direction, you don't need to have pants. Okay? Excuse me, I'm sorry.
I mean, Mike's not wearing pants. I mean,
oh yeah, I am. I'm wearing pants. I'm wearing shorts.
okay.
All
Yeah, see,
right.
I was laughed because somebody said, well, how would I ever find you in Mindanao? I said, I'm the only expat walking around never wears shorts.
Ah,
I don't have the legs for it.
Bill, I just tried to connect again, and it must be something technical because I just not getting an image. The Westons. Hi, Mike. Good to see you. Are you back to 100%? I am. No, I'm not. I'm probably 90%. 90%. The infection's gone. There's still some congestion, but otherwise, yeah. Woohoo! The ugly tourist chiming in. Come on, James. You can cam up.
Yeah, James can cam up.
Yeah, he can.
Everyone's seen his ugly mug.
Exactly. I don't want to be the only ugly guy on camera. I got a full moon, Michael says. Well, then nah, we're not going to cam that up. I'll reboot. Okay, well, give it a try. We're definitely open to it. That's for sure. So, either way, Philly in the Philippines. How was your French toast?
Ryan's in the room. Yeah. He's finished his breakfast, did his live.
Yep. He finished that French toast. I hope they were good. The ugly tourist says my camera doesn't work. Yes, it does. You just did a live stream an hour and a half ago. Yes, it works.
Yeah, I got a notification. He was doing a live stream. And then when I clicked on it, it said stream ended like 2.5 minutes ago.
Huh.
I don't know what's up with YouTube and that.
Well, YouTube can be very late to send notifications. If it sends them at all sometimes. So, let's see. Bill's trying again. Let's see what happens. There we go. We got Bill. So we're going to assign him to number 2. And now we'll go 3 up. Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
Wait, there it is.
Okay.
There we go.
It's glitchy. Huh.
I don't know. Hey, Phil, how you doing?
Good. Glad to see you. Glad to meet you. Even though I watch you all the time. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. We always welcome everybody to the channel. Oh my gosh, we got to wait a minute. Adventures with Roy has joined us. We have missed him. He's been gone. God, has it been a year now, Roy, that you've been gone? Come up and tell us what happened. Where have you been? What's been going on? We would love to hear from you. And if you don't feel like it, we do hope you're doing well. That's for sure. All right. It's good to see that you're doing all right. We met we met Roy long time ago. He was a YouTuber here. Ugly Tourist, Philly, I try to comment on your live. I'm blocked. Uh-oh. Philly blocked the Ugly Tourist? Did Taco get to you? Is that what it was?
I think Taco blocked him. Because I know Philly didn't.
Yeah. That's that troll Taco, when you've got trolls, you never know what's going to happen. But Philly says that
I think it's okay to poke fun sometimes at people, and kind of rib people a little bit, but if there's times that you go on and it's just you feel this tension and this anger, then it's like, for me, it's a wrong channel, you know what I mean? I think when you go on, you should have a little bit of pleasantness, and even if you disagree on something, you could laugh and disagree, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, look, nobody is going to get along with everybody all of the time. So, Some days you're going to have, I can tell you right now, Philly and I have sat across from each other in person at breakfast. It seems like years ago now since we've had breakfast, and disagreed with each other's points of view. And that's fine because people are different from each other. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But when you're just like angry all the time, it's not a good vibe, you know what I mean?
Nah.
Life's just too short to be angry all the time, you know what I mean?
Well, at the same time too, if your life has to revolve around YouTube, if your life is all about YouTube and nothing else, then you're going to get drawn into that toxic nastiness. It's inevitable. So James says, my bad then. Yep. So Will, where are you at?
I'm in Antipolo.
Oh, okay. That's a nice area. I like Antipolo.
Yeah, it is, but over the years it's gotten pretty crowded now though. The population's really increased.
Yeah. They've built some pretty big developments out there.
Yeah, they have, Traveling though, it's like me and my wife go to Medical City in Ortigas, and boy, you got to leave in the morning if you're going to get there at any kind of time, because you get caught in Manila traffic, forget it.
Yeah, and you know what? We used to live in Makati, and that's why we left. I mean, Arlen was okay with it, but I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Yeah. I mean, I can tell you, on any given day, to go 2.5 miles down Makati Ave would take an hour after 2:00 in the afternoon. It was just bad. It really and truly was. So Michael says, my dishwasher is working fine tonight. My Filipino wife working away in the kitchen. Wow, Michael. I hope she doesn't hear you talking about her like that. All right. Or
I'll say this though. I mean, back when we built the house in Upper Carmen in Cagayan de Oro, it used to be 5 minutes to get to the SM Mall when they opened it. Today, that's a 25-minute trip.
Yeah.
Because the roads never got any wider, but they have built probably 30,000 houses in Upper Carmen in these subdivisions, all these gated subdivisions. And I mean, it's like Manila. Like I told a friend of mine, he said, I don't care, where you go in Manila, there's no room for them to make the roads wider.
No, there's not.
I mean,
yeah, it's funny when they widen the roads, they widen the roads right past the telephone poles. I never seen anything like that.
Yeah. They put they basically went like a friend of mine who lives just out at Tondo, but he said they have now started enforcing the stores can't take their stuff and clog the entire sidewalk, so people are walking down the middle of the road, and they're getting on people about double parking.
I wish they would enforce some of that kind of stuff. Expat Crap says, on that note, would you consider John an angry or happy person? Without trying to get into too much trouble, I would consider John to be a lonely person. Okay? Yeah. And that's just all there is to it. Over the years, you never see John around any other people, hardly. He's got his buddy Ian, but not really that much. I don't want to talk bad about it. All right. If John wants to drop in, he's welcome to drop in. Okay. And we can try and have a civil conversation. But I wouldn't call him a happy person. Let's just leave it at that. Adventures with Roy. Getting out of Manila back to Angeles is hell. Oh, yeah, it can be. So, Roy, are you back in the Philippines, or are you just talking about in general transit? Socks and Sandals. Sounds like Phil is speaking about that lovely lady with the Pinoy husband. That lovely lady sounds like Phil. I'm not sure. Are you talking about Philippine antics? And maybe, I don't know. Hello, Roy. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, we do. So James says the weather has been awesome the last week. It's been so nice to go. Yeah, it's been great. I mean, literally, it has been to the point where I actually have to wear a shirt on my balcony here in the mornings when I get up. Usually I can go out there. Nobody can see me. It's dark and everything else. I'll just be in a pair of gym shorts, have coffee, read my news, do everything. And but I've had to wear a shirt. It's been chilly. Hey, Philly, I am great. Hope you're doing well. Hey, that's Roy. Philly, hello, Taco. I know you're lurking in the background. That's funny. I bet Taco is lurking in the background. If I'm lucky, Taco will send me a super chat like he does to send to the Filipino P.
Yeah, I mean, at least enough for lunch, dinner, and breakfast.
Oh, lunch, dinner, and breakfast. Oh,
yeah.
And
a hotel, maybe airfare to take your wife to Cebu in the hotel too.
Oh, that'd be great.
That's how generous Taco is.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I've heard nothing but gracious things about Taco. I have everybody loves him as far to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, and the guy he hangs around with, a bit stingy and kind of hard to get him to break open the wallet.
Mike says,
hey, Mike,
Mike, are
since the last time you had that medical,
go ahead.
Since the last time you had that medical incident, have you changed your diet much anymore, or?
Yeah, I have, but not nearly enough. Not nearly enough, but I am, let's just say it's small steps.
Okay.
Small steps. So Michael says, are you sure you don't need a bra if you go shirtless in public? Well, if I was going to wear one, it would be sexy as hell, Michael. I'll tell you that. It's not going to be one of those plain grandma bras, okay? Not going to wear one. But I'm just saying, and yes, I have worn a bra in the past. So in 2012 or 2013, I had a heart attack. Okay. I had a DVT that threw a blood clot that hit my heart. So in the recovery process, I had to wear a defibrillator, literally, and it was a portable defibrillator for 2 months, and it was a bra that you would have, and it would have the shock pads, and it said, look, it's gonna, and it would monitor my heartbeat and everything, and it would trigger to defib if I went into another heart attack. It never did, and quite frankly, I wore it for about a week and then just told the doctor I was wearing it. And then I didn't know it, but it had an automatic, it connected to his office by Wi-Fi. All right, sending out every like 5 minutes. It would send a "I'm alive." You know how computers will say "I'm awake." It would send this out saying "I'm awake." You know, I haven't turned off, and he called me out on it. He said, "Mike, you know, it doesn't do you any good to rent this thing if you're not going to wear it." So, you know, one thing is what it is. So,
I mean,
72 degrees.
And the only time I ever wore a bra was I had an ex-wife that found a bra in the back of the car that wasn't hers, and I said, "Oh yeah, I started wearing that when I exercised."
Oh my
So I wore
God!
it for the next 2 years.
And she believed that?
No,
Okay, just making sure. Roy says, "I see Philly has that beard growing out. Definitely living life for sure, but does he still have issues with those eggs?" Well, I don't think he has issues with eggs anymore because he doesn't live here anymore. He lives way down Surigao Island.
and I understand his pain. I understand Philly's pain because nothing drives me crazier when you go and you say, "I want my eggs over easy."
Yeah.
And they bring them out. They bring them out, you know, sunny side hard.
All right. I'm going to be honest with you. Yes, that does piss me off. And, you know, when you want your eggs over easy, I don't know about you. I don't know about anybody else, but I want my eggs over easy. And then I want to chop them all up and mix the juice together and everything else. And if your egg comes over hard, well, you may as well make egg salad out of it. All right. Yeah. It's just not a thing for me. Roy says, "I'm sure it would be."
That's like when you go to order a coffee.
What's that?
When you go to order a coffee out, and you know, it doesn't have to be Starbucks, but you know, you order, like for me, I drink only black coffee. But
Right.
they'll look at you and say, "I just want a black coffee," and they'll, "Oh, you cream and sugar?" No, I just want it black. "Oh, cream? No, just black lung." You know, and then they'll give you this bewildered look. You know, so, okay.
Yep. I have to say that the girls at Tequila Reef know me well. They know my coffee. They know black coffee. I don't want cream. I don't want sugar. I don't want anything. Okay. They know I want my eggs over easy. You know, they know I want my bacon, and they're pretty good. I don't eat the bacon 90% of the time. I get the eggs and bacon for breakfast. I don't eat the bacon. All right. I put it off to the side for Arlene, and I put the potatoes off to the side for Arlene. So I bring her back bacon and potatoes. And, you know, sometimes she'll eat it. Sometimes she'll freeze the bacon. Okay. But they know that, so they don't mess it all up and mix it all up or anything like that. So I can't complain.
Yeah.
GD, good morning,
Carbs
GD.
is my weakness. It's so hard to give up the
Carbs?
I go to a little. See, I go to a little Filipino run, you know, cafe near my, you know, near where, you know, near the farm area every once in a while. And I actually taught the lady how to make hash browns. So when I go there, she always makes hash browns, and they're perfect. She knows how to cook an egg over easy.
That's perfect. I mean, what more could you ask for? GD says,
all they did was go in there and say, "Hey, can you make me hash browns?" She looked at me. "What are those?" I said, "Here, I'll show you." So I showed her.
Oh.
And she was so happy to learn. She's like, "Wow." You know, so now she's got it on the menu. You can get hash browns.
Only McDonald's.
Yeah. GD says, "Can we expect British John to join the panel?" I doubt it. I doubt British John will join the panel. And I don't think he's afraid to join the panel. I think he has, just like many of us, he has life to deal with. He has other things to do. This shouldn't preoccupy him. Jones 4334. Good morning. Good morning to you too, Jones. Thanks for dropping in. Michael Atos, 23 degrees, windy and snow in Michigan. All right. I got shrinkage when I go outside. Well, then stay inside, Michael. All right. Because, at your age, once you get shrunk, it doesn't come back. You better watch out. Expat Crap, is everyone on the panel married or live-in partner? Yes, indeed. I know Will and I know Scoot, and yes, they are.
Yep, married. Yep.
Tim Deasy, I went to
Been married
Tequila
3
Reef.
years. 32 years.
How many? 33 years?
32 years.
Oh my
Same
God.
woman?
32 years.
Congratulations. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I was stationed. I'm retired military. I was stationed here years ago, and that's, I met my wife, and then we went back to New York. I got out, we went back to New York, we got married there, and then the economy was so bad, I went back in, and then I made it a career, and then ever since. So
wow.
Yep.
That's interesting. Tim says, I was at Tequila Reef for lunch yesterday. What time were you there, Tim? We went to dinner, an early dinner yesterday, about 5 o'clock to Tequila Reef. Michael, the thing that gets me pissed off is lack of coffee at breakfast. I'm a spoiled bitch about my coffee at breakfast. I don't have a problem with getting coffee at breakfast. I really don't. They bring it to me and they keep it coming.
Now the trick is to get fresh brewed coffee, not the little sachets.
Oh yeah, no. Tequila Reef brews their coffee. Yeah, it's brewed. So that
little cafe I was saying that makes the hash browns. She also roasts her own beans, because her brother grows beans up on the hill. And so she roasts the beans and grinds them, and you get fresh coffee.
Huh. Nice. We buy, Arlene buys beans and on occasion, but she can buy the same coffee already ground, and so she'll pick that up too. So it's nice. Tim Deziak, I don't have a life. Yes, you do, Tim. Indeed. James says, I'll bet John is watching. He needs content. I'm sure he is. Okay. And you know what? If he's not watching, eventually he will watch it.
And there again. Why are you worried about John?
Exactly. I mean, that's just it. There's no reason to be worried about John. I don't subscribe to John. I occasionally, he still pops up in my feed. I get people that email me and tell me, oh, look at this. He stole your thumbnail. He did this. He did that. Big deal.
Well,
I could care less.
I don't know why, I don't why these other people are worried about John. What they want to see, you and him get into a screaming match to each other, the drama.
Well, because John and I just don't agree. We have totally separate ideas as to how life is. And the problem is John can't accept that other people have other lives sometimes.
Right.
That's all.
Like Will said, you're married, 33
Hey,
years?
Mike?
Yes, sir.
32 years, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I got to bow out. My wife has an electrician coming, so we're going to be, we're in a house. This is a 3-story building. It's quite large, but we had some electrical issues and some things going on, and electricians aren't cheap, so we got to make good use of the time here when he gets here.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for dropping in, Will. We certainly appreciate it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
All right. I'll watch you later. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So he said 32 years he's married.
Wow.
Yeah. I always tell people, they ask how long you've been married. I said 40 years. Not to the same woman, but
Yeah.
40 years.
Yeah, I could do that. I could say that too, but yeah, not to the same woman. Expat Crab says, I'm sorry, but I do not, but I not think it's anything to brag about how long someone's married. I respect people more when they have balance of partner and mistress. They usually happier people. No, I don't think so. Expat Crab, come on. I think if a relationship allows for that, great. All right, more power to them. Okay, but
here, Mike. When I lived, I used to have a condo in Thailand. I finally sold it, and a couple of years ago, and I go over there, and the funniest thing is, you know how many women put ads in the paper looking for a concubine for their husband?
no.
Yeah, because they don't want to do their wifely duty. So, you get, 20,000, they'll give you a room in the house, 20,000 baht. So whenever he wants, he go see you.
Huh.
And I told somebody, I said, yeah, it's just.
I don't think that'd go over in my house. I'm just saying. In fact, I'm not sure it's a subject I'd bring up.
And that's not the Philippine way. But my wife, my wife knew all about it because she worked in Thailand for 9 years. So, I used to laugh at her. I said, "Oh, so when are you going to hire a concubine for me?"
Never.
Yeah, she keeps saying no.
Look at James is bragging. He's been married 3 months now.
Yeah,
3 months. And we're still in the honeymoon phase. You know what, James? I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful marriage. I really and truly do. Okay?
I think he will.
I met James and Ding for breakfast long ago, back at the Drake when it was still open as the Drake. Very, very nice people. Sunset Travel. It's not the drama I enjoy, Scoot. It's just the interaction to see what people are really like on the end of the camera. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get a little carried away. It goes overboard, I guess is the best way to say it. Mike, you were successful with your life and have every right to enjoy yourself with your lifestyle. Yeah. You know what? Here, let me show you something. Let's see. You see this? These are receipts. I am trying and I am going to make an effort, an absolute effort to track every single expense we have this month down to the centavo. Okay? Because I think people might just be surprised at what we spend, because it's not nearly what I think a lot of people think. I don't think I think we spend far less than what people think. I tell everyone I was conceived during 69. I was born in 70. There you go. Scoot is Butinsky. Expat, how many times have we seen the guy married to the same woman who becomes a total slump to be around? Let's be honest. Maybe not all, but most are miserable. I certainly think it happens. I think, if you look at the U.S., the divorce rate's like, 52%? I think last I looked, it's going to have changed, I'm sure. All right. But, there are reasons for that. People change over time. I don't know. You know what? I mean, I'm pretty much a slump. I'm old, fat, bald. And yet I'm still enjoying my marriage, that's for sure. Expat, if you want to extend your life, spark up it up with some younger woman instead of falling into I see what you mean by slump with the same woman. It's better for your health. Well, it's better for your health unless maybe your wife's name is Lorena Bobbitt. If your wife's name's Lorena Bobbitt, I don't think I'd want to be pissing her off. Okay? And I think she's not alone. And for those of you that don't know Lorena Bobbitt, all right, she chopped off her man's TT and threw it out the window driving down the road, which then later they found and attempted to sew it back on. But that's a whole different story. Boom, let me put that up there. Says, do you know anyone that's been in the old poppies? Has it changed much? I think Ugly Tourist has been there since Eric and Mercy and Drake left. I don't know for sure, to be honest with you. I know we have, Chubbs Dub C, Keith, and another guy, they got invited up to Poppy's to do a tasting of the Thanksgiving dinner that they were going to serve. So that's about it. I have no idea otherwise. Ugly Tourist, not much at all. They changed the color of the menu and there you go. Perfect. James has been getting around to get around. Michael says, look at divorce rates in the USA. Lesbian marriages are the highest and gay men are the lowest. The issue is the woman. I think you got that from a meme, but it's possible. That just sounds like one of the things you would see on a meme. Expat crap. Oh yeah, been a lot of them chop in the Philippines. Yeah, I would certainly be careful. That's for sure. That is for sure. Mike Simpson, good live. Got to run. Have a good night. Take care, Mike. Thank you for dropping in. Chippy, there you go. Chippy Whiska got another perfect example. You could marry a nice girl like Tanya Harding. Now, wait a minute though. Hold on. I remember the whole issue behind Tanya Harding hitting the other ice skater and all of that. But did she actually beat up her husband too? I don't remember. I don't know. You'd have to help my memory on that one. Expat crap. I'm cutting my fingernails. I forgot to go to the salon yesterday. I wouldn't, I don't know that I would let the salon cut my nails here in the Philippines. I'm just not convinced that I want something that's going to cut my skin that's been cutting somebody else's skin. I'm not real secure in feeling that the hygiene issues are there. That's for sure. So I will put this back up one more time. There we go. So, and we'll leave that up. If you want to join the conversation, please do. Please jump right in. If you want to bring up another subject, talk about anything else, as long as your camera's on and we can see you. Now, your camera pointing at the ceiling doesn't count. Remember Kuya John? He used to do that all the time. But as long as your camera's on, we're good. And Scoot's in the camera. I can see his elbow once in a while. So he's there.
I'm still here. I got a little problem. My eyeglass broke.
Uh-oh. Expat Crap says,
I can't see where it is.
that's not really the issue for me. It's more I worry they create ingrown by cutting sides. You know what? I have never had an ingrown nail. I've seen them, but I've never had one. Kuya John, where has he been these days? Who knows? God only knows where Kuya John is. I have no idea where he is. He hasn't popped into a live stream in a long time. And that's just all there is to it. Will Mike be returning to YouTube? I don't know. I do know this. I do know Mike is active on social media. Okay. Not that I've been in contact with him or anything else, but I do know he's active on social media, but it's not YouTube. So he is alive. He is apparently well. And, but where his future plans go and what they are, I got no idea. So I know that this personal project, I have this let's just call it, I have some business that I'm going to be doing, and it's going to be keeping me busy. I mean, we already have busy lives. You just don't see it because we just don't think it's interesting to people. You may want to, I don't know. I mean, we had a bunch of girls come over and a couple guys for Christmas Eve dinner. Would that be of interest to you to see young Filipino women singing and drinking and eating dinner and interacting with each other? I mean, is that the kind of thing that you would be interested in seeing? Is it worth it for me to actually make a video? And when I say worth it to me, I don't mean am I going to make money? I mean, is it going to be worthwhile for you and I to share that experience? We don't think those things are of interest. I guess maybe for some people they are, but I just don't think they are. I don't know. You tell me in the comments. Kuya John has a lot of drama and legal issues regarding his investigative services. Kuya John, Rob, Kuya John. All right, so let me try and understand this. Kuya John was part of his family made stills. They made beer brewing or liquor brewing stills legally, all right, as a legal business. And I don't know anything about his investigative services. He hasn't. Are you like kind of? I don't know. I don't know, Rob. I'm sorry. I just don't know. Expat Crap. Can we review British Expat in the Philippines channel? There's a video about Tim K in there. I haven't seen it, Expat Crap, so I really don't know. I really don't know anything to say about it. I don't watch John's channel. I think that's probably, so I don't have, I have people that are in the Discord that I'm in and people that are in YouTube, subscribers that do. And they'll send me an email and said, "Oh, look, this video is about you," or something. And if I have time, all right, I might take a look at it. Sometimes I just don't even bother. Okay, but I don't know much about. I mean, what did he say about Tim K? Expat crap. A bunch of pretty Filipinas absolutely would tune in. I'll keep that in mind, Sunset. I might do that. Rob says, maybe the wrong Kuya John. Okay. This is a guy, Kuya John is a guy that got into it with MYK Mike's Philippine journey or something like that. I can't remember, but his name was MYK. Let's go there now together and take a look then. I'm not going to watch his video right now.
Yeah.
But if I get a chance, maybe sometime this week, and then I'm going to plan on doing another live on Wednesday, or I'm going to follow Philly. Every time he does a live, I'm going to try and do a live afterwards. So, now that's providing I have time. Michael Ed says, a YouTube live is a lot like a night out at a gentleman's club. Many are looking for some companionship and interaction with others, not to beat a drum. John falls into this category. I don't know. John, I mean, look, there's no love lost between John and I, okay? But I'm not going to beat John up. There's no need for me to do that. He knows I disagree with him. He disagrees with me. All right. I have a whole lot I have an entire host of things that, apparently I've done wrong according to John. So be it. I'm here. I'm still alive. I'm still married. I'm still sending my daughter through school. Fuck it. I think I'm doing okay.
That's what I always tell people. I said, and I told somebody once, I said, this is my life. If you don't like it, then, it's like a TV show. Just change the channel.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If somebody wants, and before you were talking about trolls, and the funny thing is I've never blocked a troll ever.
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
I have.
My wife took down her YouTube channel because the trolls would go over there and attack her. And, and I said, well, I can't stop them from doing it. So she just took it down.
Yeah, I have no hesitation whatsoever.
And I used to tell him, if that's the best you have is to attack my wife, then I feel sorry for you.
The more air you give them, the worse it's going to be.
Yeah, and funny thing is, but the funny thing is, most of those trolls that used to come on my, back when I used to do lives all the time, and came to my channel and attacked me, blocked me from their channels.
Yeah. Yeah.
That just goes into pure snowflake.
Yep. A Ranger for Collector says he's still waiting on the lesbian bar video. Okay. Here's the deal. Let me tell you. All right. So the lesbian, you know what? And maybe I will have some nomenclature incorrect here. Okay. But the feminine side of that partnership, there's a lesbian and a tomboy. All right. That we're going to take us to this lesbian bar. All right. They broke up. So they are no longer a couple. And so, you know what, Ranger, until something else happens, I don't have an answer for you. All right. Single life Ware, who is the clown in town AC? Well, I guess maybe it depends on how you look at it. There's plenty of people here in town. Well, let's see here. Regular guy's gone now. All right, he left, I think, yesterday, day before. I saw a video out there. He's in Manila. I saw by a thumbnail he's in Manila. So how that goes and what that's about, I got no idea. All right. So you still got Honey Bunny. You still have other channels, plenty of other channels. And then when you say who is the clown in town, are you asking who's funny and entertaining or who's a snotty little shit? Which way are you going with that? I'm not exactly sure. Michael Atos. I like John as a person, but we have different ideas about life and retirement money. After my conversation with the two brothers at breakfast the other day, I see why he is the way he is, I think. But you know what? It's not doesn't really matter. Trolls are tools. Yeah, they are. They absolutely are. You can use them to your advantage. Expat Crap says there are 3 types of trolls. There are the comedy trolls, okay. The cause drama trolls, all right. And the malicious trolls. Okay. So where does Ricky Drama, where's Sick Grandpa come in? Okay. Where do you come in? And then, well, all right, give me an example of each one of these. You know, who would be a comedy troll? Who would be a cause troll? And who would be a malicious troll? Give us an example. And Brian says 100% expat crap.
I mean, for me,
expat crap. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, for me, like all these, all these trolls, right? To me, they're pretty pathetic people. I mean, like I told somebody, I said, everyone's a millionaire on Facebook or on YouTube, right? They're, I mean, every expat, is living large in the Philippines until they're not.
Yeah, I think there are trolls that are Philippine experts that have never stepped foot on the Philippine soil in their entire life. So
there's some that were in the Philippines. They're now back in the United States because, I mean, I watched a short done by a guy, that used to be in the Philippines, still uses Philippine in his name. And he was talking about, he went to the grocery store and he bought bread and eggs and that. And it's so much cheaper buying them in Florida than in the Philippines.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what country, or what world he lived on, but
I don't know. I got to tell you something right now. If it's so much cheaper, I need to give my daughter a call and cut back on her allowance. All right.
Yeah. I mean, because, and then in the same 3-minute video, he talked about, the guy's about 70 years old, that he's driving Uber, and in 4 hours he'd make $32.
How can you drive for 4? What do you think it cost in fuel to drive for 4 hours? That's got to cost $10.
Yeah, I don't know.
So expat crap says,
yeah, he got in trouble. He got in trouble because he was a guy. He finally got another YouTuber called him up and said, "Hey, all you do is sit on your couch, search the internet, and and post videos." And he had a fairly large following, but it's it's sad. I mean, I don't understand these expats saying, "Oh yeah, it's Philippines became too expensive, whatever." No, it didn't.
Well, it's definitely gotten more expensive, but I wouldn't say it is more expensive than the US. That's for sure. It's more expensive than it was 10 years ago.
I mean, somebody asked me, made a comment about beef before, and here. So yesterday, my wife wanted to make boolaloo, so I went to the, I said, okay, I went to the store and I bought about a kilo. Right now, I bought the one that had, the one that basically they were going to throw away. It had 30% off because there's no way I was paying $47 for 2.1 pound of chuck roast.
No.
And I told somebody, I said, when I left the Philippines in July, just before I left, right, I had about a half kilo T-bone steak, and that cost me $14. Here in the United States, that's $20, 25.
Yeah. Absolutely. So Expat Crap says you should definitely block the malicious trolls. Maybe your guest is yet to encounter a really bad one. Yeah, they're out there. They certainly are. It's the trolls that make up lies that those are the ones that piss you off. All right. It's like, it's like all right, here's an example. Bringing up John, but I really don't want to try and argue it. But the issue of John accusing me of owning a brothel. Now, if he's going to accuse an American living in America with an American business, then perhaps he should get his nomenclature, his verbiage correct. Scoot said, hey, you know what? In Australia, gentlemen's clubs and knockdown, they're called brothels. They're not necessarily a place where sex transacts for money. Okay. But in the U.S., a brothel, which are only legal in 2 counties of the entire state of Nevada, all right, in the United States, brothels are places where purchasing sex is the business. I never owned anything like that. In fact, I owned a gentleman's club that was strictly monitored by alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, by the Arizona Alcohol Board, the FBI. I had to get a state clearance, SLED, State Law Enforcement Division clearance, and I had to have all of my information run through an FBI database. And I got to tell you, maybe businesses, I'm sure, have changed and everything that goes along with that, but I ran a legitimate business, a legitimate legal business. But John accuses me of owning a brothel. To me, that's a lie until I find out that in Australia, brothel means something different than in the U.S.
Right.
So on the one hand, I could sit there and say, hey, if you're going to talking about American and you're going to talk about the U.S. and you're going to talk about a U.S. business, then man up and do a little research and understand what that means. On the other hand, I'm not going to give him a pass on it because that's not what it means in his country. It's not up to me or for the viewers to define what he thinks it is. It's what it is being applied to. And he applied it to a U.S. business. So when they become malicious, when the lies are out there, like I think maybe in John's instance, it may not have been malicious, although he certainly inundated that things transpired and all of this. But either way, when it becomes malicious, I agree 100% with Expat Crap. All right. Funny story. My wife sent Rainbow Pride shirts from Goodwill back to the Philippines for her family. I told her no, but she sent them anyway. The family photos with all of them. I bet that was cute. So Expat Crap says Sick Grandpa is the second one. The cause drama troll with a little bit of comedy. I find him entertaining sometimes. I agree.
See, I've never watched this channel.
It's a little hard to watch him, but at the same time, sometimes he is entertaining. My attorney told me to not answer your question as to which one I fall into. No comment. Well, listen to your attorney, that's for sure. And I am still coughing. I take this expectorant that causes this leftover pneumonia to come back up and get it out. So, but it's not a bad thing. Tim Duziak, I couldn't live in the States and afford my current lifestyle. Okay. And I do believe, I do believe that's true for a lot of people. I believe a lot of people could not live the lifestyle they live here comfortably in the U.S. on that same financial position. But again, I'm tracking every penny we spend. So,
hey, question for you. So, you're tracking every penny this month.
This month.
For the entire month of January.
Yep.
So, what do you think that number is going to come in at?
Okay, so let me explain the concept I have in my mind. I got a spreadsheet I'm building. Mm-hmm. All right. And I'm going to track every penny. And right. I think we're going to spend probably, when it comes to just Angeles City property, just us, okay? Just our life here. It won't count the property in Mindanao. It won't count the U.S. stuff. It won't count, where money goes and, just expenses here. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna list it all. I'm gonna show it all. Yeah. And then I'm going to highlight everything you don't need. Like, you don't need car insurance because you don't need a car. You don't need property insurance because you could be a renter and you don't pay. So, all of that. Right. So I think the grand total for January, because there are some January expenses that are not going to be monthly mm-hmm. All right. I think the number is going to come in around 150,000.
Okay.
Okay. That's what I think, but it might be more, it might be a little less, but at the same time, I think what I'm going to do is I'll highlight everything in yellow on this spreadsheet that you don't need. And then I will say, look, right. This is what we spent, but you're renting. You didn't get 3 air conditioners serviced. All right. You didn't get an oil change. You didn't put fuel in your vehicle. You didn't pay car insurance. You didn't pay property insurance. Right. All of those types of things that you're not a YouTuber. You didn't pay for Microsoft Excel, you didn't pay for Canva, you didn't pay for vidIQ. Okay? Mm-hmm. All of those things, which I consider YouTube expenses. Okay? You don't need those. So that's the right. concept that I'm going to go with.
Yeah. See, so when I go back in 3 days, I told my wife we bought a house in a subdivision in the middle of Mindanao.
Okay.
And it's in a large city. But the people that built the house, they built it very Filipino. They basically built it as they could afford hollow blocks.
Yeah.
And it's one story and it's not very big and the rooms are all cramped. And they said, you know what? let's just rip the whole thing down and redo it.
I got a story. Go ahead, but I'm going to tell you something.
So that's my plan. So, I told her, I said, but when we do builds in the Philippines, I want to be on site.
Yeah.
I want to be able to go over there 2, 3, 4 times a day. So I told her, so her daughter said, oh, there's a house for rent, like 5 houses down on the other side of the street. So it's owned by a police officer that him and his wife split up. So now he's kind of struggling, trying to pay for it. So I cut a deal with him for 8,000 peso for this 4-bedroom house.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, so I'm going to rent it while we refurbish the other house.
Okay. So
actually turn it into something.
Okay. Be careful. Okay. We did something very similar to that in Mindanao.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We bought a house. It was 2/3 complete. In other words, it was all shelved in. It was all done up. The downstairs was pretty much done. The upstairs was raw. All right. I said, you know what? I don't particularly like this and this and this, but it's right down the street from our Lynn's family. All right. We'll refurbish this. I made a mistake. I tore it down to 3 walls. I should have torn it down to the dirt. I should have torn it all the way down. I'm telling you, slab, septic, everything. I should have torn it all the way down because there's no fixing piss poor stuff. Exactly, I had to fix so much. It would have been cheaper in the long run for me to have torn it all the way down to the dirt and just rebuilt it. So,
and watching some of the comments go through here, but on that, well, that's the plan. I said the first thing I'm going to do, is I told my brother-in-law, bring the excavator from the farm down there when it's going to probably happen like January 20th. We're going to bring the excavator down. I said, we're going to dig this thing. We're going to dig the entire thing. All the concrete goes. Bring the dump. My brother-in-law owns a dump truck, a 10-yard dump truck. And, and I'll pay the people not to park on the road. So that we can get this equipment in there. I said, just rip the entire thing down.
Yeah.
There's nothing worth saving.
And that's what we should have. We should have torn it all down. We gutted it. We gutted it completely. Yeah, we gutted it. We gutted it.
Your experience of rebuilding machinery says, at a certain point, you just got to say, okay, it's all crap, and start over.
Yeah, and Philly's right. A malicious troll will make up lies and twist your words. Yeah. So Sunset Trouble says, okay, so he's from Australia. Gentlemen clubs in Australia aren't all brothels. To his generation, they all are. A lot of executive business clubs with beautiful hosts are gentlemen's clubs. He's just never been in one. And again, I've been through Australia. I would never say I've been to it. Okay. I've spent like 4 days there, 3 days years ago, many years ago. So, I just don't know. Malicious trolls are like baby Heine. Yeah, there they are. They're very sensitive. So Michael says, is $500 US dollars too much allowance a month for a Filipino wife each month? This covers her family support and leave me alone.
500? Well, it depends. I mean, are you paying the rent?
If she lives in Bel Air, if she lives in Forbes Park in Makati, no, it's not enough.
Right. But I'm saying, But if she's living out in a province, here, I told somebody, they were asking, well, here, let me explain. My brother-in-law, his wife is a nurse. Right? They have 3 children. She makes 20,000 peso a month.
Yeah.
That's their income. I mean, if I didn't pay him to work for me, that's their entire income, and they lived on that, right, for 5 years. She has yet to get a raise. 5 years working at the same hospital, making 20,000 peso a month. But they have a fairly nice, they got like a 3 or 4 year old car they bought, right? They bought it new, like 3-4 years ago, for $1.2 million or something like that. Real nice Toyota. So yeah, I mean, how much? Depends where they live.
Yeah, it does depend on where they live.
I always tell guys, if you got a girlfriend in the Philippines and she's asking for money, $50 a month. If she complains it's not enough, then tell her go find someone else. Because, hey, Mike, you can tell them, right? Here, it's like when you go to those little trout fishing farms, they have on the side of the highways. Right? If you throw anything that looks shiny in the water, the trout's going to bite it.
Right.
And
well, again, it depends on how much does it cost to live, to retire in the Philippines. It's all about individuality and lifestyle. So I got to tell you, Michael, I certainly wouldn't say it's too much. That's for sure. I would say, is it enough? Is it enough for her to cover herself and her family and leave you alone? Well, I don't know. I bet she'd be happy to leave you alone for $20. You're not the world's best prize catch sometimes, Michael.
I can tell you. Okay, my wife, her 3 daughters were all going through college at the same time. Right? And I told her, I said, okay, I'll cover the college. Right? Because COVID hit, and she was, when COVID hit, unfortunately, she got stuck in Thailand, and they cut off all the overtime. She was back to making, it's like 25 or 30,000 peso a month. Right? And, but she had to pay all of her rent and everything else, which everything in Thailand exploded at that point. So anyways, long story short, right? I said, okay, that was $450 a month.
Yeah.
Cover all their college tuitions, right? 2 nurses and a veterinarian.
Yeah.
So that's $450 a month. So
Expat Crap is asking, in your opinion, what is the Philippines' biggest problem? I think the Philippines needs to pour its resources into education and infrastructure. Those are the 2 biggest lacking areas. But I mean, we could say a lot of other things, but I'm not sure I'd want to do that. Well, there's a real Ranger says.
I'll add this, Mike. No, their biggest problem is they need to do what the people have asked: clean up the off the books spending that goes into every government project.
Yeah, well, and that's something I really try to avoid talking about in public. Mm-hmm. So, Ranger says there's a real number to living good in the Philippines. All those saying $1,000 is not living. To me, that's surviving. And that, again, I totally agree with you, Ranger. But for some people, it just depends on how they live their life and what they consider. I got, trying to figure out people sometimes is impossible. Expat Crap. Go ahead.
Here, I'll add to that. $1,000, 55,000 pesos. Like I said, I just rented a house. Right. I'll take take, I set it up. When I get there on the 10th, I'll take over the house, right, for 8,000 peso a month. Now of course I got to outfit the house, but we're just taking all the stuff from the other house, and then I can grab some stuff from the farm and bring it there, so I don't have to, spend. When you first go there, you're going to have to buy a lot of stuff, right? But if you own the property, if you own a property, like Mike, you own your property, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does it cost you for your property? Property taxes?
Oh, it's squat.
Yeah. I mean, it depends where you live. My house in Liliayan, right? It's 140 square meters. My property taxes on that one, 2,800 peso a year. I think 28 or 3,200 peso. I mean, it's nothing. The electric bill, $100 a month.
Yeah. So Expat Crap says, or should I say, in your opinion, what is the biggest problem for expats living in the Philippines? There's too many problems. Expat. I mean, they stick their nose where it doesn't belong. Alcoholism is a huge issue. They get involved in Filipino businesses and they never should. All right. I mean, the list goes on and on, but what's the biggest problem for expats? I'd have to give that some thought. How about you ask me that again next week? All right. Then give me some time to think about that one.
My opinion would be real simple. Thinking that your way is the only way.
That's certainly a problem.
Huh?
That's certainly a problem. Yeah, Chippy Whiska points out a real important part. He says, I think the biggest problem is the lack of financial awareness. Lots of cheap credit these days to get the middle class to spend. It's not going to end well. And he's right. There are too many expats in the Philippines, quite frankly, that just financially, they got lucky to get here, but it may not end up being lucky for them. Scoot's Philippine journey. Mike, I may not be the best catch, but I set my wife up for life. And exactly, Michael, you did. You absolutely did. And I'm just kidding as to whether you're the best catch. James says, I guess I'm different. I don't give my wife an allowance. You know, everybody has their own methods and ways they do it. Michael says his cat says hi. Taco says hi. I like Taco. I really do. Chippy, man, geez, man, let the host speak. My fixed bills in the USA is $1,500 without food and gas. I surely can make it in the Philippines for the same. You know what?
It depends where you want to live.
You can live in the Philippines retired for less than $1,000 a month. It's possible. You can live in the U.S. for less than $1,000 a month. It's possible. I mean, there are plenty of cardboard boxes available to put underneath a bridge. There are plenty of tents that you can buy at Big Five Sporting Goods, head out into the jungle, all right, and pitch it. You can shit behind a guava tree or a papaya tree, all right, wipe your ass with mango leaves. You can do it for less than $1,000 a month. It's possible. Okay? So, it is possible. Anything is possible. Rob Selsman, Mike, is your guest married to a girl with 3 grown kids?
Yes.
There you go. Oh my God, street free.
The youngest daughter is 24 now.
Wow. Street Freak Patrol is here. What's up, Street Freak?
Yeah. And here, and just so you know, the youngest daughter just turned 24 a couple months ago. And when I met my wife, she was pregnant with that girl.
Wow. So Street Freak says you can live in Tondo for 50 pesos a month. There you go. I think that's a little underestimated there, Street Freak, but
you'd have to sleep
anything's possible.
On the road.
Yeah, I know that's a slight embellishment, but I do get it. He says, "What's up?" I'm late.
In all honesty, if you want your P's and Q's, and and you don't want to live you don't want to go to the restaurant 3 times a day, and that you're willing to eat rice and and however, I can actually see you could live for $500-700 a month, but you have to live more Filipino. You're not going to have air conditioning.
Yeah, I mean, it's all individual.
Mm-hmm.
It's all individual. So Street Freak wants to know what's up. Not too much, Street Freak. We're just talking about different things. Let's see here. Michael says, I own a place in the Philippines already, like in the U.S. It's basic living costs. Okay, there you go. So this is an interesting question. Expat Crab says, when should a foreigner, if at all, stand up vocally in a disagreement or dispute if in the right with locals? Or should foreigners be pushovers and lay down in fear of being deported? Well, I will tell you what my rule of thumb is with that. If it's on my property, I stand up for what I believe in. If I'm in public or it's another issue, you should do like Filipinos are supposed to do. Your first course of recourse is to go to the barangay if you have a disagreement. That's the first thing. And then it escalates from there. If you are a single foreigner, shut the fuck up, grin and bear it. That's just the way it goes. All right? You're not going to win that fight, and you wouldn't win that fight in practically any other country outside of your own. Okay? If you're a foreigner in a foreign land, okay, you just got to deal with it, especially if you're single. I let Arlene deal with it, and Arlene makes sure I don't stick my nose where it's going to cause an issue. All right? Z-Man says Somalians live in the USA and get paid to live here. Well, Americans get paid to live in the U.S. too. All right? Yeah. Welfare is rampant across the board. Now, is Minnesota got a big damn problem? Is there going to be a huge issue across welfare and Medicaid and everything? You bet there's going to be. There's a ton of that coming.
Honestly, Minnesota doesn't have any bigger problem than Arkansas, where I just left, where half of the people seem to be collecting some kind of federal handout.
Yeah. Chippy says, hint not taken. There you go. Boodaboo says, I have found real numbers in the Phils in cheaper cities, and a $1,500 Oregon life would cost 45,000 pesos in the mid-cities. There you go. I mean, and it would depend on where in Oregon, maybe, or whatever. And that's why I say it's just variable. Everything is variable. Street Freak says you can disagree with anything, just keep your voice down. Yeah. No, you can't disagree with anything. All right. You know something? You have to be careful. All right. You do have to be careful. I mean, you don't know that. Here's an example. We are home in Mindanao. We know for a fact And we don't know who, but we know for a fact that there are NPA members, the New People's Army members in our city. We know that. And I think they're well known. I think that the people, I think that the locals know pretty much who's who and what's what. Okay? But I don't. And I got to tell you, you just don't deal with that stuff. Number one. Number two, all right, not down the street, but way down on the other end of the river, okay, we have AITAs, or the original native Filipinos. They walk around with bolo knives because they're chopping coconuts all day. You don't want to disagree with a guy with a knife. Doesn't matter how quietly you would disagree with them. Okay? When you're an old, fat, 70-year-old guy, and the guy you want to piss off and argue with is 25 years old and has a 3-foot bolo, I got to tell you right now, that's a poor choice. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Oh, without a doubt. You're absolutely correct, Street Freak. I would not argue with that at all. Blessed, I bought a simple house, 2.2 acres. Yeah, nice. I wish I had 2.2 acres. We're still looking for more land down in the province. I would love to have that size of a piece of land and build a small house and sell the house that we built. Street Freak says, if you're going to be angry and unreasonable, then you're going to be out of luck just by your attitude, without a doubt. It doesn't even matter. You got to worry about what their attitude is. Their attitude could be, hey, my neighborhood's better off with one less of you. So you've got to consider what their attitude is also. What are your thoughts about Tampo, and have you ever encountered it? And if so, you know what my thoughts about Tampo? I've made this well known in the past. I think it's bullshit, and I wouldn't deal with it. Period. End of story. All right. I think Tampo and acknowledging, I think recognizing Tampo is probably one of the stupidest mistakes any expat can make. You're buying into a myth. Look, if a woman is pissed, then you either have a relationship where you can have a conversation with them, or you don't. And if you don't have that kind of relationship, and if you're not, now, granted, you've got to be willing to have a verbal conversation without raising your voice and being an asshole. All right. Hey, you're in the wrong relationship. It's just that simple. That's petty high school shit. All right. That's all there is to it. That's my opinion, expat. I mean, everybody's entitled to their own. D-Web says, I think the main problem with foreigners living in the Philippines is they're expecting that things will be on par with their own country, and it ain't. And you know what? Dave's right. Things are different, but you should expect that in any country. There are foreign countries where certain things are better than the U.S. There are places that are worse. You've got to learn to adapt. Street Freak says, I've always been nice and low key to hospitality and got most of what I wanted. Yeah, you've got to be a reasonable person. You really do. But I see many foreigners getting angry straight off and getting much less. I agree with that. I have seen it. I'll be honest with you, Street Freak. As much as I hate to admit it, I have seen foreigners behaving badly in person, in public. I have seen it. Michael says Tampo is short for tampons with PMS. Nah, Tampo is when they're pissed off and they just don't want to talk to you. Now, why they got pissed off, that's a whole nother story. For foreigner versus foreigner type of crime or legal issues, the local justice system will squeeze as much pesos from each party as possible. You can guess who will win. Yeah, foreigner versus foreigner, you better be ready to pay up, and you better hope they back down, because if they drag it out, you're going to be spending way too much money. Expat, are you saying that Western women also do Tampo? I'm not saying that. I'm saying Tampo's bullshit. I don't believe in it. In your opinion, do you feel that Filipinos tell more lies than Western people? No, I don't. I believe that being a deceitful liar is a gender, race, culturally biased, unbiased position. You can have liars. Look at politicians. Are you saying that politicians in the United States lie less than Filipinos? I mean, it's just. I don't know. I don't think people. I think people are a byproduct of their upbringing, of their community. Do you think Filipino males secretly, I think what you mean is resent foreigners being here, taking their women, or not? I'm talking the majority. No. I don't think there's enough fucking foreigners to affect the 10 million women here. If there's 20 million people in the Philippines, all right, or more, I can't remember how many, but if half the population is female and a third of that population is single, that's still way more than there are foreigners that live here. I don't think we make that big. I mean, we're not special. As foreigners, we need to understand we're not special. All right? We don't deserve special treatment. We shouldn't get special treatment. We shouldn't be a byproduct of it. We should be no more important than anybody else. Now, should I get special treatment because I pay more in Filipino taxes than a vast number of Filipinos? No, because there are plenty of Filipinos that live on this very same street and they pay the same taxes I pay. So we're not special, and it's something we as foreigners, not just Americans, but we as foreigners need to keep in mind. Street Freak says the Filipinos are too busy trying to make money every day to worry about women. Yeah, and they are. It's a tough life for the vast majority of Filipinos. It's a difficult life. And you can't blame them for wanting more. You can't blame them for anything. But, the bottom line is they're busy. Z-Man says 120 million. Yeah, I knew it was over 100 million, but I just used 20 because it was a simple number.
Here, Mike, my little interjection is, okay, why does somebody think you're stealing them? That's sort of like I heard a guy, when I was in Arkansas, tell me how the blacks are stealing all the white women. Where do you come up with this idea?
Yeah.
Who's stealing? If you treat them like crap, yeah, they're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah. Michael says peck peck is peck peck, and if she shares that with an expat, who's to say she is not sharing it with a Filipino guy? Well, of course she is. You think the only person she has shared that with is an expat? Not if that transacts here in the Philippines. Now, if she went to America as a young woman, it's possible. But in the Philippines, it's probable. But you know what? Who knows? I mean, the Philippines can be a very conservative. The deeper you go into the province, the more conservative it can get. Okay? I mean, it really and truly can. James says, I tend to agree with that. Filipinos treated Ding and I with exactly. And James, you are absolutely correct. All right. We have never, it's funny. We've never had an issue with a Filipino that other Filipinos didn't have that same issue. Okay. There are neighbors that would complain about noise, and they were Filipinos. I just think, I think James, the ugly tourist, is absolutely correct. We've never had a problem. But then again, we don't stick our nose where it doesn't belong. We don't demean them. We don't put them down. We're generous. And when I say generous, I mean we're salamat, walang alaman, thank you very much, you're welcome. We're nice people, and because we're nice people, I think that pays off. Ruby, good morning, Ruby. Actually, afternoon now. It's noon. Good day, Mike and Arlen. How you doing, Ruby? Hope you're doing well. Jones says 113 million. Yep. Booty boob, 112 million. All right, let's all agree it's over 100 million. If it's over 100 million, 50 million of them are women. And if if 1/10 of them are single women, all right, that's 5 million. All right. And there are less than 500,000 full-time expats living in the Philippines.
And that's from every country in the world.
That is from every country. That's registered expats. If you're meeting a Filipino for the first date, would you accept her bringing a friend to pay her lunch, or would you accept her family? Or you say you only pay her? Keep in mind, first time meeting. So first time meeting, no, I would not. Period. If she doesn't have the confidence, first off, if you haven't courted her, I guess is the best word. All right. If you haven't had conversations enough with her to make her feel safe with you, to meet you, all right, in public, during daylight hours, all right, and keep in mind, like, for instance, would I expect her to come to the airport by herself? Clark Airport, sure. Manila, no way. I would never expect a single girl to go to the Manila airport if she's never been before or only infrequently been. So it's a matter of where, all right? But other than that, no, I don't want her friends to tag along, all right? Really and truly, I don't. And Arlene met me, all right, on her own, and I wouldn't want her family to tag along. That's just the way I am. Period. Tim, Ruby, hello. D-Web. As a foreigner living in the Philippines for the past year and 3 months, I have my fair share of disagreements with certain internet provider by phone. A whole nother ball game once I show up. Yeah, but you got to learn to control your emotions. You got to, that's just it. Street Freak, expats never pay for her whole family. That's just rude. It is. I got in a lot of trouble for that comment, Street Freak, years ago. I made a video years ago. Are You Beautiful, I think is who it was, talking about how it's expected that the foreigner's going to entertain the entire family when they come to meet for the first time. And I said, I call bullshit on that, because not only would I not, I never did. Not until I got to know them better. And Street Freak says it's rude to bring a whole family when they're, it's rude to bring anybody unless it's a safety issue of the location. And part of that's your problem. Part of that is you're not picking something close to her, in her area, in her safety zone. And so you've got to look at it from both sides of the coin. Street Freak, it happens a lot. Expat crap. When you see an older chubby man, here I am, okay, take a poor young girl from the province, how do you view that? As helping her out of poverty or taking advantage of the situation?
Hey, Mike, is Expat going after me?
No.
My little province girl?
No, Arlene's a province girl. Okay. I think Expat, if you got only the visual, you don't know that person and how they feel about what they're doing. You don't know that girl, her family, and how they're doing. Then you're making a snapshot. For instance, wealth in the province. All right. Wealth in the province isn't money. Generational wealth in the province is land. You may have this girl coming out of the province who doesn't have a lot of money, but they may be sitting on tens of or hundreds of millions of pesos worth of land. Or they may be sitting on land that produces millions of pesos annually in rice or other things. So you really gotta have, all right, both sides of that to look at. Ruby, most expats end up with the Filipinos who are not the preferences of Filipino males, educated, good family, and not single mothers. And that could be very true. But just because, all right, so Ruby, I would exclude part of that. All right. You don't have to be, just because you're a single mom does not make you uneducated. And it doesn't make you not from a good family. I mean, Mr. Wallace was the pastor, a young guy, pastor of the church across the street from my childhood home in North Carolina. Okay. Mr. Wallace had a senior pastor. I can't remember his name. Well, I got to tell you, now these people had money and they were good people. But their daughter, all right, the head of the church, let me tell you, she took me behind the church and And I mean, it was a teaching experience for me. So, I mean, educational experience. I did feel closer to God when it was done. That's for sure. My point with that is that looking at the optics only, if all you do is look at the optics, making judgments is hard to do. The Ugly Tourist, you reap what you sow. Expat Crap, do you think foreigners should get married or keep as live-in partner, and give your reason for your answer? I think that's kind of obvious, Expat. I'm married. Why did I get married? Well, I'm taking our lens, all right? I'm taking the opportunity that Arlene has to meet others and get married away when she's with me. I love my wife. I love my partner, let's say. So therefore, I want to make sure that she's taken care of in the future. I want to do something for her life. And to do that, marriage is unfortunately part of the process. In your opinion, do you think Filipinos have a preference between white or dark skin colored? I have no clue. I have no thoughts on that whatsoever.
I can say this. My wife, her three sisters here in the U.S. and one of them died, but two of them are married to white guys, and two of them are married to black guys. It's like in the U.S. Okay, what does the girl prefer? Whatever they want.
Yeah.
Now, all four of the sisters here in the U.S. have one thing in common: fear of the sun. They want their skin as white as possible.
And that's true. But I don't know, Expat. I really don't. I know that I have a really good friend of mine here that's a man of color, and he has no problem getting dates whatsoever. I have another really good buddy here who's Caucasian, and he has no problem getting dates. And they have dated the same girl in the past. So, who knows? Sunset Travel says there's more single girls in the Philippines than the population. Oh, come on, Sunset. You really think there's more single girls in the Philippines than the entire population? What's the population of Australia? I thought you guys, I don't know.
Australia and Canada, not that many people. A lot of area, but not a lot of people.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So Street Freak says single girls have met me in places in Manila. No issue. Exactly. And I met Arlene in Manila. All right. So Ruby says expat best to be live in first. And if after years of living together and relationship, still the same, then you can consider mesh. Yeah, I agree that you should live with. It doesn't matter. I think you should throw the word expat out. I think all relationships should live together in the beginning, at least for a year. After that, then marriage. Okay? Okay, so Expat says, man, he's got some great questions. I think you have a list of them, Expat. All right. Yeah. If I asked you what a sexpat is, how would you define it? Is a sexpat someone who sleeps with a Filipina? What actually is it? Do you consider yourself to be one? Well, first off, no, I don't consider myself to be a sexpat. I have a wife. She's the only woman that I have had relationships with since I've moved, since we've been together. Number two, what is a sexpat? I don't believe I could give you a good answer other than to say, I think a sexpat is an individual that travels to a country in search of sex financially or manipulatively. Either way. All right. And that it's not just to one country. All right. They go all over. Are there sexpats in the U.S.? You bet. You bet. There are guys that in the U.S. that will go to the poor side of town to hook up with chicks. They want out. They want to go out to dinner in this guy's Mercedes. He's driving daddy's Mercedes, but they don't care. They don't know. Is that any different? I think what we really should define it for or as expat crap, I think the real name should be man whore. Are they man whores? Okay. Expat, after knowing a Filipina for 3 months, would you trust her enough to leave your wallet home while you go out to the condo? While you go out of the condo? How much money's in that wallet? Are there credit cards in there? All right. I have 2 wallets. I have one wallet. It has my ACRI card, my wallet passport. You know, you can get your paper passport. Yeah, see, 2 wallets. Your paper, you get a paper passport and a wallet ID passport for an extra $75. I have one of those. All right. And that's all I keep in that wallet. That's it. I keep my money. I keep. Let me get this real quick.
You got one of those fanny pack things?
Yeah, I got one.
But I have my wallet and my wallet. Okay. This is my thieves wallet. It's full of credit cards. Right? It's got a couple of pesos in it. And that's about it.
Yeah, so that's
all the credit cards are expired. They can do whatever they want with them.
So yeah, all right. So that's in one wallet. Then I have 2 safes in my house. All right, in this condo, and my credit cards, my checkbook, all the other stuff, that's in a safe. But if I was a single guy, she wouldn't have the combination of the safe. And this is my money, and I keep it on a little clip and I carry it in my pocket. So there's no money there. So yeah, I would. So
but in all honesty, if that's your biggest worry, if you've known the girl 3 months, yeah, I'd leave the wallet out. And if, and put a couple of thousand peso in there, best money you ever spent. If you come back and it's gone, you know.
So Ruby says, are they singles with no children? Not single mothers. And that, you know what? That's a good question. Buttaboo, you only entertain the entire family if they're named Corleone. There you go. That's funny. What superstition beliefs have you encountered that you were surprised, and give some examples? Well, a lot. The aswang, number 1, all right, which is a aswang, yeah. That's a big superstition in the provinces and even in the cities, because so many of the girls and guys in the cities come from the provinces. They come from the provinces. They come to work. The white lady, all right, essentially a ghost. Okay. They do, like, black cats are also, that's a superstition that they believe in. They believe garlic will keep the aswang away. They believe in all kinds of stuff.
Here, I'll put it this way. There is not one the fantasy, beliefs anywhere in the world that Filipinos do not believe in.
So, I mean, Arlen,
all you have to do is put it on Facebook. They believe it.
I'm telling you, Arlen, I swear to God, I mean, you want to sit there and say, bringing her to the U.S. And living in the United States for years did not instill any bad habits in my wife. Yeah, well, not exactly true. Okay, Arlen firmly believes in Bigfoot. And she never heard about that in the Philippines, but she's a big fan of Bigfoot. So
now if you go way south in Mindanao, they believe in the white gorilla, which is sort of like Bigfoot.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, I forget what they call it, Akamamango or something like that.
Oh my God, they've got a half a dozen of them. Street Freak. Yeah. There was one girl who wanted me to meet a few members of her family. I said, how many? She said, 30. I'm sure you ran fast. My God. I bet you blocked that number on your phone too. Yeah, Expat Crab's like having a fit now. To feed all 30 or only meet them? Yeah, 30 for dinner. No thanks. No way. Ruby, what if you get your Filipina girlfriend pregnant while you're living together? Is it honorable to marry her then? Wow. Philly, thanks. I'm glad you asked her and not me. Taking advantage of the situation. Guess who would be paying? 30 for dinner. Wow, she's really going to take you to the bank. Expat, this is common. They bring all their clan. I don't know. Arlen didn't, but she's the only Filipina I ever met. This is very common when expats come to meet their online girlfriend for the first time. I guess so. Expat, can I ask your guest on panel if it's okay to do so? Did he ever take his girlfriend's family to dinner in the start of their relationship and pay the bill?
Did I? Which girlfriend?
Which girlfriend?
No, here. I'll give you a brief history. My wife, I met her because I flew to the Philippines to meet her sister. And she was pregnant with her youngest daughter, but she wasn't married to the guy. She, just had, 3 kids with him. And, and when I went there, I ended up taking, her, the girl, the gal I went to date, sister, the other sister, the third sister, the mother, the brother, and all their family. They all showed up at the restaurant. Yeah, it happens.
I mean,
how much did it cost? And how much did it cost me? About 2,000 peso.
I've taken
like 30 to 1.
I've taken Arlen's entire family, out to eat. But I never had them just show up without me knowing.
Well, it started with they showed up at the airport.
Okay. Well, you know how I felt about that. Ruby says, depends on how long you've been together. Getting her pregnant isn't a reason for marrying at all. No, and yeah. Expat Crap, I believe you do. You think she would have met you if you tried to negotiate. Still trying to negotiate that dinner for Street Freak, huh? Ruby, let's say you 6 months living together. I just read the red flags and don't meet. That's what Street Freak says. Marriage because of pregnancy isn't the answer then and now. And I tend to agree with Ruby. I tend to agree with Ruby. Getting married because you got somebody pregnant, You know what? I think it depends too also on people though. I have the financial means to support a child born out of wedlock. Okay. But others may look at that and say, if I spend that money, all right, supporting them, then I have no other life left. Maybe they feel like they're getting backed into a corner there. I see both sides of that coin, unfortunately. Ruby says, screw that. 6 months is not enough. Will says, I'm back. Electrician didn't have everything he needed. Go figure. Yeah, nothing new there. There are no rules on getting married. Yeah, Street Freak's right. If she want to leave you just because you won't get married, you with the wrong woman. And that's probably true. A woman should want to be with you for your love, not a marriage certificate. Expat crap. Are you saying that if I interviewed 100 Filipinas, 50% would say prefer white and 50% would say prefer 50% would say prefer white and 50% would say prefer a white? I think if you interviewed 100 Filipinos and you're white, they would more would say white. They don't want confrontation. I don't know though, expat. I mean, really, I don't. I do know we have met Filipinas that will not date men of color, and we have met Filipinas who prefer to date men of color. But I would pretty much call that a mixed bag. Ruby, do you want your kid being raised by another man, woman? No thanks. Someone should do that survey. Sunset's right. I am colored white. Bookham Dano. How are you, Dano? There's endless options. Yeah, there are. How often do you think in Angeles foreigners have left overs of other foreigners? How common? Oh, I think it's very common. I think it's in Angeles, and I'm not saying it's not common elsewhere. I wouldn't be surprised that it's common in Cebu. But I can tell you right now in Angeles, leftovers, yeah, without a doubt. I like the way you phrase that, expat crap. That's funny. Joan says, I would say 95% of the women in relationships with foreigners are transactional only, seeing the look on their face as they walk with old men 20 feet per minute. I would disagree with that. I would say there's a large number. Don't get me wrong. I would not say 95%, but who knows? Sunset,
again,
how many,
depends where you live.
yeah. How many marriages last when they get married because of pregnancy? Barely any real dating experience, Street Freak says. Tim, the population of Canada is the same as the population of Luzon. Wow. I had no idea. God, Canada can be so beautiful. I could live in Canada. I could live in the cold.
Canada has more people than Australia does.
Wow. 27 million people in Australia. Wow. I thought Australia was bigger than that.
No, I mean, it's a huge country. I mean,
Yeah.
it's an entire, it's an entire continent, but it's like Arizona. Most of it, nobody lives in.
So, I mean, like most of the population lives in 4 or 5 metro centers?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. If you're going to take...
I took a Harley ride across Australia, and there are areas, I mean, it's like Arizona. You can drive for 3 hours and not see one thing.
Yeah, been there, done that. Street Freak says, if you're going to take the first apple in the barrel, don't complain when it's a rotten one. I got to admit, you're right. Street Freak, yeah, your wallet might still be there, but empty. You never know. You never know, Street Freak. If you were only allowed to tell someone 3 things who's coming to the Philippines for the first time, would you tell them? 3 things only. Make sure you bring more than one way to get access to your money. Number 2 would be to learn patience above all else. And number 3, I'm not sure. I mean, there's a lot of important pieces.
No, number three is do not think that you're American, that you're special.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, don't think that you're special because you have money, because you see them as poor. That doesn't make you. Ruby says, Sunset, when a marriage break down and move forward and recommit to a new marriage, then obviously the children will be raised by a different man. Yeah. Expat, never drink. Street Patrol says, Street Freak says, never date single moms. 3 times. Say it 3 times. Book them down. 2 types of expats, those that are retired and those that come here because they can't make it. And I agree with Dana. There are those people who are retired, and then there are those people who just can no longer deal with making a living in the U.S. And so therefore it's a fake retirement.
You're missing one class. Guys like me. Right? I worked over half of my life outside the U.S. Right? I worked in Kuwait for 8 years, right? Doing contract work for the U.S. military, flying in and out of Afghanistan, and driving in and out of Iraq, right? But I mean, I spent, I lived and worked in Japan, Germany, and I made a crap load of money.
And that's great.
And I own houses in the U.S. So yeah, there's that third one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you handle a Filipina if she refuses to leave your condo and is not a pay-for-play girl or just a date? Oh, it's pretty simple. You call the barangay, all right? Or, yeah, you call the barangay, or you have security at the condo throw her ass to the curb. Pretty simple. Ruby, never single mothers. Also, how do you handle a paid girl who's refusing to leave the hotel and asking you for more money? You call hotel security and have her thrown out.
Or you go just walk outside, taxi.
Yeah, I mean, no, don't do that. You don't want to leave her. I mean, you probably paid for the hotel room and everything else. That's your responsibility. You don't want to leave her to trash it. Just call hotel security and have her thrown out.
Yeah.
And there you go. Call hotel security. Yeah. My God, I'm scared. Street Freak and I are thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that.
Yeah, that scares me. That scares me.
Look, I'm thinking it's the drugs you're on.
Ruby says those sad stories where they're like a template. Yeah, and Ruby's correct. Asbong, I'm scared of also. Oh, the Aswang? Come on. I keep telling them when I go to the province, I tell them, if there's an Aswang, let me know. I want to sit down and talk to the Aswang. I want to invite the Aswang to dinner. I have questions.
Do you know what the Aswang is?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a creature that goes after pregnant women.
Yeah.
And sucks the baby out of them.
Yeah, it sucks the blood out of the baby. Yeah.
while
Absolutely.
they're pregnant. Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got nothing to fear. You got nothing to fear. I mean, Aswang doesn't want you.
Yeah. Oh, he likes me because I'm special. But
You only
maybe
work
not a
pregnant.
good special.
You're like
Ruby.
me. You only work pregnant.
So Sunset Travel says, so don't even try to make it work. Kids' future has to be worth the effort. I don't know. I will tell you this much right now. I have very deep, very, very, my opinion on children is very strong. I think that the biological parents of children have an obligation that never ends. And I don't mean a slight obligation either. Street Freak says, too much trouble getting involved with single moms. It can be, that's for sure. Ruby says, absolutely. Try to make things work until it's futile when one has already left the room. And I agree. Does Arlene believe in Kulam, especially coming from South Philippines? Probably. I don't know. I think Arlene might be gone to the grocery store right now. So I don't know if she could answer, but I can find out, Ruby, when she gets back and around. In defense of single moms, the one I met is a lot more mature because of it and self-sufficient. I can't write off my perfect woman because she has a kid. And I agree with Sunset 100% with this. I don't think that being a single mom excludes you from being dateable or partner material. I just don't. I really don't. Ugly Tourist says, love the honesty, Scoot. After Ding and I knew we were together, I took her family out. Yeah, absolutely. I've taken Arlene's family out many, many times. When I first met them, when I first went to Mindanao and met Arlene's family, I took them all out. Oh, hold on. Ruby, Arlene says, wait a minute. Oh, Arlene's still listening. Yes, she believes in the Kulam. She just sent me a message, so she's listening. So yeah, I took Arlene's family out, but it was a choice that I made. It wasn't a choice they made. I invited them all. So sure. Expat crap. Why do you think Filipinas like foreigners, honestly? Is there more reason than money? Can you share? You know, expat, yes, I do believe it's more than money. But no, yes and no. Number one, I do believe that foreigners as a group, as a representative group, are more traditionally aligned to stay and create and talk through problems. Whereas Filipinos, you can't argue this point. They can get very, they use this excuse of this thing called Tampa and all this other shit. All right. I think foreigners represent a more solid future. I think that there's a little bit of curiosity, okay? Especially among young Filipino women. They're curious, all right? For those of you that think that the Filipino women are all like conservative Mary Poppins, you're wrong. You are absolutely wrong. There are Filipino women that are educated and uneducated that are willing to experience the world and experience everything. That's just the honest truth. Does money play a role? It could. I can't read their mind, expat, but I would certainly say for some it may, but that's no different than in the U.S. I had a friend of mine in the U.S. who was 51 years old, all right? And all he dated were 20-year-old ASU students. That was it. That was it. Okay? And it was only because he was filthy rich. He had a ton of money. He owned a tanning salon across the street from ASU campus. He owned not a Subway, but a Jersey Mike's across the street. He owned a pizzeria, and his favorite place to pick up these girls was a laundromat that he owned across the street from campus.
I know that guy.
You know that guy. You might. You absolutely might. All right. So, I mean, these girls were interested in the money too. So, I mean, it's not just Filipinas that are interested in it. If that makes sense.
Back in that whole thing, though, right? So, now uneducated. My wife's got 2 college degrees. She's got a master's degree in education and an RN, right? A bachelor in RN. So it's not they're uneducated. Right?
Yeah.
I met her, like I said before, I met her, when I went to date her sister at the airport. Didn't talk. I didn't work out between the sister and I, and didn't talk to her for 8 or 9 years. But she decided to leave her husband because he was a drunk, or not her husband, but her boyfriend, because he was a drunk, and he treated her like crap, and she needed to support her children, and went to work in a hospital in Thailand, where I met her, because I had a condo in Thailand. I ran into her, and I didn't recognize her. She recognized me and just came over. Hey, who are you?
Yeah, there are educated and uneducated women in every society and in every country. Period. End of story. Yeah. Genuinely hope your relationship lasts. I certainly do. Ugly Tourist, Sensitive, I agree with that. It's Ugly Tourist. You can't write someone off because she has a child. No, you can't. You can't, and you shouldn't. The invisible American man. We are all leftovers. And there is some truth to that statement. We're all, I don't know any, that's not true. I know one expat that's never been married. But he was in a long-term relationship. Philly says, excuse me. Ugly Tourist says leftovers are common everywhere. Yeah, they are. I mean, James is absolutely correct. In every society and in every country, they're there. Philly says many expats coming and living in the Philippines are leftovers also from, and absolutely, Brian is absolutely correct. Will says dating is a crapshoot in any country, especially nowadays. I think dating, even I think you're saying it anywhere. It doesn't matter whether you're in the U.S., whether you're here, whether you're in Somalia. Sunset says there are plenty of good single moms. Absolutely. There are. There are plenty of bad single moms. There are plenty of good single guys. There are plenty of bad single guys. Okay, there's nobody has a claim to ownership of all of it. What's your view on Western women visiting Philippines? Do you care? Any thoughts? No, I don't give a shit. I could care less. Let them come. Let them come visit. Why not? I don't know. Why would that matter? I don't know. It's not like I'm going to get jealous they're going to be stealing Filipino men. I don't think that certainly isn't going to bother me. Sunset says, we just all live in coastal areas, the good parts. Yeah, I didn't realize that the population of Australia was that small. Number 3 is learn to say no. You know what? Street Freak's correct. You got to learn to be able to say no. And then he gives examples. Can you give OPJ a super chat? No. Yeah. Well, I might make $1 on my live stream, although I did get a $10 super chat earlier. Let me see here. Boom. Super chat from Callie. Of course, yours much. I'm not going to say anything, but yeah. Hey, I can't complain. Cannot complain. No. So Street Freak, you first, Philly, you big 215. Yeah, people don't realize this, but Brian is a big baller. He's got the money. No. Does that mean, is that Philly saying that, or did Taco jump in there and type that? Yes, be scared. Will says, I retired at 39 from the Navy, got my 13A, took a year off, got bored, was too young to retire. I would see guys drinking San Mig at 8. We see people drinking at 8 o'clock in the morning here. I cannot tell you how many times I've gone to Tequila Reef, 8 o'clock in the morning for breakfast, and somebody is either stumbling drunk down the street or sitting down on the rail ordering San Miguel and eggs. Actually ordering, I did once see a guy who ordered breakfast and San Miguel. But yeah, I've seen them drinking cocktails and beers at 8 o'clock in the morning. In fact, there was a bar. Where was that bar over on Fields Avenue that Philo used to hang out at a lot? Not that he hung out drinking or anything, but he knew them well. I think Laffy's or something like that. Those guys are drinking at 8 o'clock in the morning. Will says, now at 63, I'm retired now. Absolutely. Expat, what if the Filipino tells the security or reception a story like you were aggressive with her, or was she crying, putting on tears? Would you still just call security?
Yes.
Yes, I would. I absolutely would. But you've got a problem there. If you brought this girl back to your room and this was a transactional thing, you could get in trouble. If you brought this girl back to the room and she's underage, you're going to get in trouble. So let's put those things out of the window and say that's not what happened. Let's say you met her, you guys kicked it off, you went back to the room, men being men and women being women, these things happened, and then that happened, I'd still call security. I still would.
I mean, even if it was transactional, she says, "Oh, you paid her." You say, "No, I didn't." It becomes a he said, she said thing. But yeah, I mean, if she's going to say, "Well, you abused her" or whatever.
Yeah. Although I would worry,
especially in your neck of the woods, they know the story.
Yeah, but I would worry. I would still be very worried either way, because all they have to do is get a swab of her cooch, and if you're in there, you know what? Now she's got some grounds to make her story stick a little bit better. Just saying.
Remember that old Navy, thing.
I'm just saying. I would be worried.
Yeah.
So, Edcast's question for the panel: have you ever had a date or a paid girl cry in your room or on a date to cause drama to get money, how do you deal with it? I never have. All right. Arlene's never cried on my shoulder for more money, but I do know a guy that it happened to. I know a guy it happened to, and he kicked her ass out. He took a firm stand, had called security, and threw her out. So, but, again, I think circumstances decline. For the most part, there are not single moms. The family raises the kids. Okay. Do Filipinos believe in vampires? I don't know.
They believe in everything.
They believe in anything.
They believe in everything. Yeah. If it's on Facebook, they believe it.
Yeah. Ruby says, I'm a logical and analytical person, but I have personally witnessed a case of Kulam in the 80s. I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't witness it. I'm going to have to get Arlen to fill me in on what Kulam is. Michael, have you ever been to the Philippines? Boo. In Oregon, there's a county the size of Belgium with under 8,000 people, literally called the Oregon Outback. All right.
Here, Mike. Kulam, it's like the witch lady where I live. And now I've been dealing with this witch lady, I don't know, it's got to be going on 15 years. And I still keep telling her, I'll give you 50,000 peso if you can make me sick. Come on. I walked over with hair clippings.
So is the Kulam the same thing as the quack quack?
The black magic thing? Yeah.
Is the same thing as the quack quack?
No, it's more, the lady with the evil eye. If you have a problem, you go over there, I gave her my hair. I actually had a doll made in the U.S. looked exactly like me. And I gave it to her. I said, here, stab it with every pin you have. Still, she never got the 50 grand.
Okay, folks. I had no idea, but we are going on 3 hours now. I've got to get motivated. I've got some stuff I've got to take care of. But before we go, live stream again next Sunday. And I'm going to start live streaming on Wednesdays after Philly. So once Philly gets done, come on over and visit me. All right. Well, I'll be in Phillies most of the time anyways. So, but I do have to go get some stuff done. I certainly appreciate everybody stopping by. There's a ton more comments and everything I can't even get to yet. God, I feel bad. But I got stuff I got to do today. So thank you very much. Have a great day. We wish you the best. Bye-bye.